So look, I got a quick conversation to tell y'all to explain something. Don't go to court and challenge jurisdiction. Learn how to get out their jurisdiction. Because everybody under one perception that if they go to court and challenge jurisdiction, that's what takes them out. No, you got to surrender the contracts beforehand. So before y'all want to go out there, exercise y'all rights to bear arms. Before y'all want to go out there and try to travel on the roads. Before y'all want to go out there and claiming y'all free men, y'all got to understand one thing, how to get yourself out of jurisdiction. And what's so crazy is I found out this a few days ago. So when I went on my state website and dealing with all the Florida statutes, I put a Florida statute, persons and subjects. I searched that up. And on chapter 48.193, subsection 1A, it explains everything and how they get jurisdiction. When the police ask you for your address and you give it to them, they gain jurisdiction. If they got your 5-digit zip code, they gain jurisdiction. If you make any form of contracts with the state, they got jurisdiction over you. So you got to understand how to pull yourself out of it. If you got a driver's license, like I said before, surrender it. Business licenses, if that connects you to an artificial address and you say this is your place of residence, you also subject to that jurisdiction. Privileges and benefits, also subject to the jurisdiction. If you receiving any money in child support, subject to the jurisdiction. And it's a whole lot of shit I got to explain to y'all. Like, people got to understand. So search up your state and search up like subjects and everything. Persons and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. And you're going to find it in every state. And it says the same thing, nothing different. It don't matter what state you search it up on. Just learn how to remove yourself from the jurisdiction. Then you can start doing everything as far as like exercising your rights. You don't want to exercise your rights and you still got contracts with these people. It don't make sense. So the first thing you want to do is remove contracts first. If you got any questions, y'all, I'm finna have my OnlyFans finna come up and y'all can ask me anything, because it's one thing when you get the status change, but that doesn't mean that you are free. Because it's the municipal bonds and the contracts that you make with the state that can still pull you in their jurisdiction.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So that's what you got to understand. I met brothers who non-citizen nationals got arrested, and they ask me all the time what happened. And I ask them, hey, what address is on file? Because I'm like, you say you don't have a license, so what address is on file? He say, hey, I put it in care of. Wrong move. Because the moment even if you put in care of, they going to consider that as your address, and boom, they got jurisdiction. Whether it's in state, out of state, or another state, anything that have a fictitious address, the 5-digit zip code and all that, boom, get them jurisdiction.
Now, what this man just explained is what they call cancel all corporate contracts. Now, what this man wants you to do is surrender your driver's license. After all the hard work that you previously put in to get your driver's license, he wants you to undo that and surrender your driver's license. He also wants you to surrender your gun license. After all of the paperwork you filed, background checks, the fees you had to pay to get your gun license, he wants you to give that back. Now, not only does he want you to give that back as far as the driver's license and the gun license, after you give it back, he then wants you to still go out there and operate a motor vehicle. And as far as the gun is concerned, he still wants you to go out there and carry your weapon as if you still have those privileges, which you won't have anymore if you return your driver's license or your gun licenses. Now, for the women, he's advising you women to cancel child support. You fought all of these months because your child's father was a deadbeat or whatever the situation is. He wants you to cancel child support, and it's all because he believes that this will achieve what he calls removing jurisdiction. Now, this meathead is so slow that he doesn't realize that the United States has jurisdiction as long as you're in the country. As long as you're on American soil, they have jurisdiction. He thinks if you change your address or change whatever address you have on file, then the United States won't have jurisdiction anymore, which makes absolutely no sense, because when a foreigner comes over here from another country, their address is not in the United States, yet the United States still has jurisdiction over them because they are on American soil. There is no such thing as removing yourself from the jurisdiction. Now, the scam here is he has an OnlyFans, and you pay a monthly fee for it, and he'll give you all the wonderful advice in the world, which would be a bunch of crock. His advice is life ruining. Do not listen to this man. He is a complete fool. He is a fake guru, and listening to him, you will be on a path straight to jail.
Yeah, so like, I'm gonna give y'all like a little documentary about me, like a little intro, like, you know, to explain who I am, what I do, right?
Okay, this should be good. He's going to give us a verbal documentary.
Now, ever since I started this, you know, this journey with becoming a non-citizen national, you know, after I went through the whole passport process and after I, you know, changed my status, you know, it's a certain way we live. It's not normal when you when you got to be articulate about every little thing. Like the way I bank is private, you know, how I live is private, you know, anything I do got to be private.
What you talking about, Willis?
And what I mean private, you are separating yourself from the straw man. So I don't use my social security number to get a bank account. I don't use the EIN number to get a bank account. Neither do I use a CPN number to get a bank account.
Okay, so this is easy. So since you don't use any of those things you mentioned to get a bank account, you don't have a bank account, because you can't get a bank account without providing a social security number or an EIN number in the case of getting a business account. So you saying you don't use any of those things just leads me to believe that you don't have a bank account.
I got one bank account with the EIN, and that was for Navy Federal. But like my major bank account, like Bank of America, I got that because I claim citizenship in another country. Now we gonna discuss that later. But you know, my whole family, like my son and my wife, they are both nationals. So I'm not the only national that's in my household. But I'm just saying, like, the way we live is different. It's not the same. Is now, I won't say weird. It's easy to me, but I know for the average person, they'd be like, hey, what if I want a driver's license? You gotta know how to get a driver's license in a private. And what I mean by getting a driver's license in a private, you have to know how to utilize or change the address that's on your ID profile. So usually they give you like a fictitious address, like 117 Pine Hill Crest, whatever you live at, and they have a 5-digit zip code. The way we get IDs is like rural free delivery, and on top of that, we'll say the city is like USA Republic City, and the zip code we'll put all zeros. And the reason why you have to do that, because that take you out of territorial jurisdiction.
Excuse me, sir, but what in the doohickey are you talking about? If you try and get a license and you give the DMV some ridiculous address that you just stated, rural free delivery, and the zip code is all zeros, they're going to look at you like you're stupid, and you will not be leaving out of that DMV with a driver's license. Stop lying to people, because you clearly don't have a driver's license talking this foolishness.
From the state, because the state, you know, they pick up shit like that. Like, that's why they want to know if you got a license, you got state ID within the state, because that's how they gain jurisdiction over you. And I can read, you know, the state requirements, like, damn, like, these are all things that can pull you in a jurisdiction that people do not know. And I'm gonna say something else, like, non-citizen national, believe it or not, depending on how much you know, we are watched. We are watched. Not in a way they gonna sacrifice us or take us, kill us or something like that. I'm just saying we watched in a way where we are a threat to the United States government.
Now, that is the first truthful statement that this quote-unquote non-citizen national has made. He is absolutely right. People that are trying to do foolishness that he's describing are definitely being watched by the government because they are criminals and they're looked at as domestic terrorists and sovereign citizens. All you're trying to do is teach people how to be criminals. That's it. And you're darn right the government is keeping tabs on fools like you.
Now, we're not really a threat, but we actually just trying to retrieve our rights. But the only way to retrieve rights is to discontinue all contracts. Because y'all got to understand one thing: you can't be sovereign and still have contracts with these people. They don't exist. You know, you wanna have the right to travel and the right to bear arms, but you still got you still got a driver's license in the state. You still got business registration. You still got your car registered. You still got a mortgage deed that you have. You pay registration from the state. How you gonna be sovereign? It don't exist. If you want to be sovereign, you gotta be sovereign all the way. Real sovereigns don't get benefits and privileges. Real sovereigns don't use their social security number. Real sovereign people don't register their vehicles. Real sovereign people do not contract with the enemy, right? So when y'all start contacting me and we had these private sessions, I can explain a lot of stuff to y'all, like more stuff than y'all actually think I have, like as far as information, because the goal is to get the results. The goal is not to talk or teach y'all things. The goal is to have it where whatever you want to do, you can have it. Like if you want to acquire a house using the 1099A, you can have it. But the thing, the way you get it is to understand how those tax filings work, because everybody is under the presumption that the 1099A is where the money comes from. The 1099A is used to report. The 1099 OID is where the money comes from. But that's another conversation. So, I'm gonna have the Telegram link below. That's just a little summary, of what I be going through every day as far as like a status change. I don't feel invisible, but I feel like it's different. Everything unique. Everything I do is different. Like the way we get properties, the way we get lease an apartment or at least a townhome. Like I'm in a townhome, right? So the way I lease the townhome is different. It's not the same. We go through hell to do anything. Nah, y'all. I'm gone.
Now, once again, this man is talking a bunch of foolishness, right? And he wants you to consult him so you can get involved with his foolishness. And of course, consulting him, you will have to pay some type of fee. But you just heard what he said at the end of the video. Everything that they do is difficult. So if you're a smart individual, why would you want to make your life more difficult? Why would you consult with this man so he can make your life more difficult? If you listen closely to what this man is saying, and if you're intelligent, you will just bypass this man because he is a complete fool. Why would you even make a statement like that? If you are a true hustler, you would tell people that you would help make their life easier. But you said pretty much that you're going to make their lives more difficult. That makes no sense. This man is a complete fool. Do not listen to anything. Do not take any advice from this man. Stay far away. He is a scammer.
Okay, y'all, look. Now, this video is going to be about how can you get a bank account without a social security number as a United States national. Now, in most banking institutions that you go into, whether it be a Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Navy Federal, and etc. Now, these are all major banks. So it doesn't matter whether you claim yourself to be a U.S. citizen, a non-citizen national, a resident alien, or anything far as that, right? But the problem is that when you go into the bank and you ask them and you tell them that you are one of those statuses, this still doesn't eliminate the fact that you have to put a social security number down. And the reason why you have to put a social security number down is because is no way the branch manager, is no way the underwriter, is no way the banker or anyone that works within that branch can bypass the system without using a social security number. And what makes my situation much different was, as a United States national, I explained to my banker that a United States national means a citizen of the outer land possessions of the United States. So a citizen of the outer land possessions of the United States would be countries like Bermuda, American Samoa, Virgin Islands, and etc. Now, she told me, she was like, whoa, wow. Okay, you American Samoa. So I said, yeah, I'm American Samoa, because those are one of the outer land possession countries. She said, okay, so she put American Samoa as my country of citizenship instead of the United States. And once she done that, I didn't have to use the visa. I didn't have to use a social security number or a tax identification number. It went right through, and all she needed was my identification card, which was my passport book, and everything was, smooth. So you will have to really go into these branches and act like you know what you're talking about, explain to them what certain things mean. And if you find a banker that, you cool with, it's possible she gonna file everything for you on your behalf, and then you can get the bank account as a foreign national. You don't have to have that bank account with your social security number on it, so IRS can't be digging and looking in your shit. So you can keep your bank account in the private pretty much.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You opened up a bank account by telling the lady that you're an American national and you're a citizen of Samoa, which makes you a national. Now, I heard the Samoans are actually nationals. But then when you presented identification, you gave them a United States passport, which you have to prove citizenship to gain. What you're saying makes absolutely no sense. Now, if you were a citizen of Samoa and they look up your birth certificate and see that you were born here in the United States, everything crumbles. Like, what you're trying to teach here is a bunch of lies, and you're just trying to teach people how to be criminals. And you're explaining things that are just complete, utter nonsense. And for a fee, someone can contact you, and then you could go even deeper into this nonsense. The problem is, how do you even keep up with this foolishness? Because the minute somebody contacts you, you give them all this stupid advice, then they go out in the real world and actually try and do all of that stuff, and it doesn't work. Then they contact you back and say, hey, the crap you told me didn't work. I want my money back. But I guess you'll probably just not answer the phone or answer your emails, or you probably have a no money back return policy. So that's just it. If people are stupid enough to actually consult you, that's on them, I guess. Ladies and gentlemen, stay away from this guy. He is talking a bunch of utter nonsense.
Okay, y'all. Now look, I'm gonna say this one last time, right? But I'm gonna give y'all clarity on this. Clear all contracts that you have with the state. And what I mean by contracts, the driver's license is a contract. It has your address. Cut it. The state ID has a contract. It has your address on it. Cut it. The registration have your address on it and is a contract. Cut it. The title and the deed for the state have your address on it and give them jurisdiction. Cut it. All the contracts that you have with the state is what makes you a subject, right? So one thing I want everybody to know, it's all about consent. That's the main thing. It has nothing to do with the Constitution. It got nothing to do with nothing. It's always about enforcing the contract. If they can get you on the contract, they got you, right? So before y'all do anything, the first thing, always remember, settle the contracts. Have everything written in an affidavit once you settle it. So say for instance, to surrender a license, when you go up to the DMV and you want to surrender it, also attach an affidavit with it and get a copy of that affidavit as proof that you settled the contract. Or do the same thing with just a regular ID, surrender it. Registration, surrender it. Now, if you got a mortgage, now this is the hard part about people who got mortgages, right? A lot of people, if you know, a mortgage is what ties you into the jurisdiction. But if you can get a patent on your house, if you can get your house copywritten in a trademark, you can do things like that to pull it out of jurisdiction.
This dude just said you can get a patent on your house. You can get it copywritten and trademarked. What in the fuck are you talking about? I can't believe people actually listen to this guy. Wow. This dude is one of the most ignorant fools that I have heard in a long time.
Don't try to do anything that you see on YouTube. Don't be following people because they telling you something out of a document. It's all about contract. If they have it against you, they will use it on you. So make sure that you clear all contracts first. That's what this video is about, clearing all contracts. I know I clear most of my contracts. I would say I do have one contract with the state of Illinois, but I don't live in Illinois. But as far as that, you know, most of my run-ins with the police and everything in Illinois have been perfect because that's my original state. From like being a state citizen and everything like that, I'm the most recognized when I go to Illinois. So I really don't have no problems. But for the rest of y'all who live in y'all current state, and I know y'all got a lot of, you know, contracts within that state, make sure y'all want to close out them files that they have on you. If you got any questions or you want to set up a consultation, you want me to show you step by step on how to do it. Or another thing, a lot of people have been asking me about like link cards and stuff like that. What happened was I did have a link card before I changed my status over. And once I did it, after 2 months, it turned off. My medical benefits went away and everything. So be careful about changing your status because I know a lot of people, you know, they're going through financial problems and everything. So I ask a lot of people, make a decision. You want to be free or you want to be a slave? I'm going.
This fool just said, don't try to do anything that you see on YouTube. Yet he's on YouTube trying to give people advice, talking about they can reach out to him for a consultation, obviously for a fee. This guy right here is a scammer. The minute you pay for his consultation, he's going to give you bad advice. That advice is going to lead you more than likely to prison, and he'll be nowhere to be found. Do not take this man's advice. All he's doing is trying to make you guys criminals, and as we know, the criminal lifestyle is not a productive lifestyle. Stay far away from this man.